Hey everyone, today I'm coming to you with a review on the brand new Marvel Legends Puff Adder Build-A-Figure Waves Ultimate Captain America. And wow, this figure is absolutely outstanding. Hasbro went all out with this figure, and I was not expecting that. When it was revealed, I thought it was majority reuse. I knew that it was pinless, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but it looked very familiar to the previous Captain America comic figures that we got, the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends one, as well as the 80th anniversary of Marvel in general one. Those two figures are absolutely amazing, but they have very similar designs to this, so I was expecting this to be majority reuse, but here it is in my hands, a complete new sculpt, and at that, an amazing new sculpt. So without further ado, let's get into the review for the brand new Marvel Legends Ultimate Captain America. Now, as always, I do want to start off with the packaging for this figure. It is in your standard Marvel Legends plastic-free packaging. On the front, you have a rendered image of the Captain America figure. On the top, Ultimate Captain America, a comic image of the Ultimate Captain America behind the rendered image of the figure, Marvel Avengers logo, but there is something very, very odd with this rendered image of the figure. There's something behind his leg there. I have no clue. I can't even begin to guess what that would be. If you have any idea what that is, let me know in the comments below, but that's another reason why I'm very excited for this plastic-free packaging to go away. Is yes, the main reason is that you can't see the figure and it's in like a little baggie inside, but also these rendered images are just so inconsistent and oftentimes border on false advertising. But on the side, you have that same image that is on the front, just obviously clear and in color. That is a very, very nice image of Captain America. On the back, you have another rendered image of the figure, but this one does not have that thing behind the leg, so there you go, another inconsistency. His accessories, the Puff Adder head that he's included with. There you have the price of the figure, your standard Marvel Legends price here in Canada. And then on the other side, you do have the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure, as well as all the other figures in this wave. This is the final figure from this wave that I'm reviewing. All the other figures have reviews out now, so go check those out whenever you feel. But we will have the Puff Adder review coming out very, very soon. And in that video, I will do a ranking of the whole wave, so stay tuned for that. But nothing much more on the top and nothing much more on the bottom. So without further ado, let's get into the Ultimate Captain America. And here we have the Ultimate Captain America figure himself in all of his glory, looking very, very, very good. And now, as always, I do want to start off with his accessories. He's included with a standard Marvel Legends Captain America shield, at least for the comic figures. On the back, you have the same hinges that are usually included, one for the wrist and one for his back, or you can just put it in his hand, his open hand at least. I would recommend putting it around his wrist, but as always, especially with this design, be very, very careful because that plastic is very, very fragile and it has broken on some of my shields. So just please be careful. I would hate for your figure to break, but he is also included with an extra set of hands, just being a regular set of fists, although they do have a little bit of a design going on as his other hands have that same design. He has an open hand, which is very good to get, as well as that kind of gripping hand for the shield or whatnot, but they do have a kind of interesting design going on. And then his last accessory is a alternate head, which is very nice to get. This is kind of just a stoic Captain America expression as opposed to this very angry Steve Rogers expression. But let's switch them off here. You can see that this one also looks very good. They both look very good on this figure, and I'm happy with the accessories that we did included. As always, we could have gotten the shield throwing effect, but I'm kind of tired of that effect. So what we do get here, I believe, is good enough for this specific Captain America figure. And here we have the Ultimate Captain America figure himself. And wow, Hasbro really went all out with the sculpting on this figure. I can't stress that enough on specifically the white parts because that's kind of hard to see if you don't focus on it. But there is this texture, which is way more clear on the render, as you can see, but that is surely on this figure as well. I guarantee that, but I really do think some black wash, at least on the white parts, would really bring that detail out. I have to say, this figure kind of reminds me more of a G.I. Joe classified figure more than a Marvel Legends, but hey, that might just be me because of this kind of extra sculpting detail that we don't normally get on Marvel Legends, especially when compared to the 20th anniversary Captain America figure. Very, very smooth biceps, obviously, you know, pinned, which isn't great, but this is what I mean. The sculpt looks very, very similar, so I was expecting a lot of reuse, but there is zero reuse on this figure, which is honestly very, very awesome for this figure. Now let's start off here with that head sculpt. I really do like the expression that we have here. Definitely works for the Captain America. Now I guess I'll show this angry one as well. Very similar head sculpts, just the expression is different, but the paint on this one at least kind of looks a little weird around the ear, but that's not too big of a deal. You won't see that most times. He doesn't have the wings on the head, which some people don't like. I actually do enjoy that this figure doesn't have that wing detail, at least for this design. It makes sense for the other ones, but it really does allow that sculpt to come to life, and that sculpting does carry down all the way to the neck there, but then does get stopped by this chainmail. I don't exactly know what to call it. It is a very nice design, and I love getting it on the Captain America figures, especially when it is an actual sculpt, not printed like that one retro carded figure that wasn't the best Captain America figure, let's say. On his shoulders, you do have this circle with the star on it, which is definitely popping out more than on the other figures. Well, the other figures did not have that, but that is definitely a nice detail to get. And then on the bicep, that does continue down, and then you do get that very nice textured detail on the white parts that I was talking about. On his gloves, something very interesting. He has pockets. That is interesting. Very equipped for battle. Definitely supporting that design for sure. But the belt is honestly probably my favorite part with this figure. Yes, you have your normal pockets, but he has a flask. That is so awesome. That's such a nice detail that was included with this figure. It would have been nice if it was removable. You do have a star there. It could have been, you know, printed or painted, but I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me too much, but it would have been nice if you could, you know, take that off and have him hold it with that one open hand, but it is still a really nice detail to get because, you know, sometimes you forget these figures, if there were real people, they need to drink water too, so at least this Captain America got that memo and, you know, is carrying a flask like a true American, let's say, as he is kind of the most American person in all of Marvel. And then he does have that peg on the back of his back underneath the star. Like I mentioned, you can just port the shield onto it very, very nicely, and that does look good. You do cover up a lot of detail. That's why I didn't start off this segment with that on, but from the back, or from the front rather, it does look good. Also does look good from the back as well. But then going down to the lower half of the figure, I guess I didn't really focus on this. There's a little bit of paint splotching right there on that red part, and then up there on that gray part. That doesn't look great. And then I love how that gray part does continue onto not only the shoulder, but also the bicep. Just a very well detailed and sculpted figure overall. But yeah, the painting on this figure is a little, that's probably my main gripe. Like if I had to be really nitpicky, because trust me, I do love this figure, but there it stands out on that gray part. And then even on this bicep, some of the white does seep through, which isn't the greatest, but I guess not too big of a deal. And then on the other side as well, that's the same thing. Could have been a little bit better, but you know, if that's the worst thing on this figure, we're doing pretty good overall. Now, for the lower half of the figure, you do have some sculpting on the legs, which does look very good. Kind of just a line going down all the way down to the boots, which I really do enjoy these boots. I love the sculpting on this figure. They're not just standard, like, comic-y boots. I mean, these were nice because they had black wash, but as you can see, these are leaps and bounds better in my opinion. And as you can see, beautiful pinless knees and pinless arms. I didn't mention that, but it's kind of obvious. And then that line does go around, especially on America's ass. There's a loop around, you know, the American rainbow on the American ass, looking very, very good. But other than that, I don't think there's too much more to say with this figure. So let's get on to his articulation and then some comparisons. Now, for the articulation on this Ultimate Captain America figure, it is pretty good, but kind of what you would expect. The head does go up that much. Down, no tilt really, full 360, and then same articulation with the other head, obviously. Arms go up that much, and then I would have thought that that would have gotten in the way, but it doesn't. And does the paint get wrecked? No, not really. That is pretty good overall. And then full 360, bicep swivel, double jointed, pinless elbows, which look very, very good and move very well as well. It looks like there would be, no, there's no rotation at the glove, but the hands go up. Not that much because there is a little bit of plastic sticking out of the glove there just at that one side. Down a little bit more and full 360. And that is the same with this hand, but this hand right here is on the vertical hinge, whereas all the other hands are on the horizontal hinge. The ab crunch does go down, not really that much. Back, side, side, full 360. So that is a different joint as opposed to this body. This was that kind of standard Marvel Legends ab crunch joint. This is a different one, the more modern one. Waist cut, full 360. You can see it goes full 360, but I don't want to do that because the belt kind of gets in the way, which the belt also doesn't have an ability to be removed, at least to my knowledge, so you can't take that off, even though you probably would want to add it to other Captain America figures because it is so good, but the legs do go up that that much. Back, splits, upper thigh cut, beautiful double jointed pinless legs, and then the ankles have boot rotation, not the ankles, the boots have boot rotation, and then the ankles go up, down, and beautiful ankle rocker pivot. Now, first, for comparisons with this Ultimate Captain America, here we have some of his Marvel Legends predecessors, being the 20th anniversary Captain America, the 80th anniversary of Marvel Captain America, and the retro-carded Captain America figure with some mods, the shield and the head, which was included with this figure. Now, I do want to do a head swap with that unmasked head, because this Captain America, as you saw, is not included with a unmasked head, which I'm fine with. I do like the other head a little bit more, in my opinion, especially if we have this already with another figure. There's no point for them to include it, at least in my opinion, although they could have, I guess. But that does actually look very, very good. I don't know if that's the exact hair he has, but in my opinion, that does work very, very well for this figure. But as you can see with these 4 Captain America figures, it's like a blue color spectrum. They all have different shades of blue. This is a more lighter blue, as well as this one, and then these two definitely have the darker blue, but this one is definitely the darkest blue. I wasn't a huge fan of the color that they chose with that figure. It does make sense for the design, and a lot of people did like that, but this one was definitely my cup of tea. Now, for recommending a Captain America figure, it is definitely up to your preference as always, but I love this figure. I love this design. It is a very specific design at that. This one is certainly like my other favorite, but it is definitely between these two. So for the Captain America figures that are at least on the market, these two are certainly harder to come by nowadays. I don't know which one to recommend. I think I would recommend this. You don't get the shield that is just, flat. You do have to have effects on it, but that does work with more, scenes and more shoves. This is definitely limited, but overall, I think this is a better figure. So I guess, it's up to you. I can't necessarily pick one over the other. And then next up for comparisons, here we have the Ultimate Captain America next to the US Agent from the Controller Build-A-Figure Wave, as well as the Red Skull figure from the Zemnu Build-A-Figure Wave. Next up for comparisons, here we have the Ultimate Captain America next to the Winter Soldier from the Black Widow Build-A-Figure Wave, or the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure Wave rather, and the retro carded Black Widow with some accessories from the Walmart exclusive Black Widow. But lastly, for comparisons, here we have the Ultimate Captain America next to some of his wave mates, being the Baron von Strucker, the Yelena Belova, as well as the Extremis Armor Iron Man. Review for Puff Adder coming very, very soon. Now for my final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Ultimate Captain America figure, this is truly a outstanding, amazing, phenomenal, superb, all the words I can think of definitely do apply to this figure. It is truly all of those and more, and I might go as far to say it is the best Marvel Legends Captain America figure, MCU and comic both together, figure that we have gotten in the line up to date, and that is definitely a hefty title to hold, but I really do think this figure deserves it. I don't see anything really wrong with it besides, a few paint splotches here and there, and that could certainly just be my copy of the figure, but let me know if that is on yours as well. But yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say with this figure. The only real downfall, I guess, is it is very specific to a certain comic Captain America design, and it doesn't work with all the shelves, I imagine, as that 20th anniversary Captain America definitely did work with a lot of Marvel Legends figures that we have had in the line. This is a very specific design, and that one certainly was not, but still, just as a Captain America figure, just let's base it off that. I don't think you can deny how good of a figure this is, and I beyond absolutely recommend this figure if you are looking to get a Marvel Legends Captain America figure. I did see someone ask whether they should get this figure or the 20th anniversary Captain America, and that is certainly a debate, and I honestly don't know if I have an answer for that, because I love this figure so very much. It is my favorite of the two, at least on paper, but that one certainly does apply to a lot more scenarios. You can't really put this one with, your comic Hulk. I mean, you can do anything with the Legends, but that one was just meant for everything. It was the perfect comic Captain America figure, and this one is even better, but for a specific design. It is a better comic Captain America figure for what it is based off of. So on that basis, I think I would recommend, I don't want to pick though. I can't, but if you want an answer, I'm probably still going to go with that 20th anniversary figure, even though subjectively I do think this is a better figure overall. But as it stands with the price in account, just a standard Marvel Legends price here in Canada at least, I got to give this figure like a 9.7 out of 10. I really think it deserves that. The only thing like I mentioned, is the downfall with it is the paint apps, as well as just you know, it's not well, it is specific rather. It's not a figure that works with all your Marvel Legends contexts, all your shelves, all your scenes that you want to do. It doesn't work with all of them, and you know, you can do whatever you want, but you know what I mean. But yeah, that is all I have to say about this figure. Let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. I really do want to know what you think of this figure specifically, and as always, stay tuned for my next video, being the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure review himself. I keep thinking I'm going to say the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure wave, but no, the Puff Adder Build-A-Figure himself, which I will be doing a ranking for all of the wave in that video, so definitely check that video out. But as for this one, thank you so much for watching. I have been Jagger Collector, and I will see you tomorrow. Captain America out. Bye, guys.